All right, now I think we're going again, buddy. You're listening to the Late
All right,
Night
cool.
Playset podcast.
Version 2.
All right, I think we'll see how this
And
goes.
we're back.
I think. And we are back with Tory Alonso from Pennsylvania, USA,
What up?
representing a beautiful
Yellow
yellow
car
car shirt there.
represent.
Is that a Carpe gear? Oh, it is. I see on the sleeve there. Carpe gear.
Yep.
Beautiful, nice
There
representation.
you go.
And
Yeah, man.
and you are even color coordinated with the blue Los Angeles Dodgers hat, as I now know, and the yellow car. That's awesome. Oh man, good stuff. All right, we'll bring it in here. Here we go. All right, welcome back. This is our take 2. If you were here a few minutes ago, welcome back. And if not, then welcome to Tuesdays with Tory here in the Late Night Playset. My name is Jay Ryan. We've got our buddy Tory Alonso on the line. He will be in here in just 1 second. In fact, there's a shot of him right there. I'm going to tell you what's going on today, including the date. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. And as I mentioned, this is our Tuesdays with Tory. A few things we're going to talk about today. Some are follow-ups from last week. Our buddy has seen Days of Thunder. I'm excited about that. And we're going to do some follow-up with the Petrolichus conversation we had. And then also, I'm a little out of sorts today, and that's perhaps why some of this technical stuff isn't going so great. We're going to talk about the Mythbusters, our buddies the Mythbusters, and our fallen Mythbuster friend, Grant Imahara. So we're going to talk about that, all that stuff. Buddy, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you? I'm glad we got this little technical snafu figured out because
You know what?
tonight's going to be a fun show.
To me, it was just like anything, the first question they would have asked us is, well, did you reboot? I figured we should probably try that first. And it seems like it fixed our issue. So, how have you been? It's been a week since we've seen you. We've been actually keeping to our Tuesdays with Tory schedule, which I like.
I know, right? Yeah, actually on Tuesday, which is nice. I've been good, man. Nothing really new to report here. I'm obviously still not working, and my 6-month leave that I bid for happens tomorrow. So
Okay.
a lot of us at the airlines are kind of freaking out about that because you can change your mind as many times as you want, but by noon tomorrow, like you've got to have your bid in for this thing. And so tomorrow is at noon. That's it.
So all this time you've been talking about it like it was done deal because your decision has made in your mind, but it hasn't, like, it's not filed, signed, sealed, delivered kind of thing until tomorrow.
Exactly. That happens
Oh,
tomorrow.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this will be exciting then. You're
So
officially on vacation tomorrow.
I know, right?
What are you going to
I
be
feel like I've been on
doing? How are you
vacation
going to keep
forever.
yourself busy once that car of yours, that beautiful car, is down at Porsche at the Heritage Gallery in Atlanta?
I honestly don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been looking at Facebook Marketplace for something else to work on just because I'm so bored.
I was wondering
But
if
I
you
don't
would
know.
be going that route.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I've got another Yugo I can tinker with, but I mean that only gets me so far. I don't know. I'd like to have another old Volkswagen to work on, but I don't know. Who
Well,
knows?
interestingly, part of this free time, it does allow you to watch more stuff. And in the last episode of Tuesdays with Tory, we talked pretty hardcore, unintentionally talked pretty hardcore about Days of Thunder. And I think it was clear in the episode that I had said enough things about it that you were kind of excited to actually watch it. I believe you have since watched it. Let's talk about it. What did you think?
I have. It was really good. It's funny that it took me so long to see it. I've seen like I think I said on the last show, I had seen the scene where they did the was it the rental cars where they're like taking them back or they're meeting I think they're taking them to a meeting or something and they were supposed to drive together and they're like, "No, we're going to settle this like
Just to
men,"
show there's
and
no
they go
hard
and rent
feelings, you two
cars.
are going to drive to dinner together.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I'd seen like that part, but there's a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen before, obviously. And so I ended up watching the whole thing, and my takeaway is how similar in shooting style, I guess you'd say, it was to Top Gun. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing just reminded me of Top Gun. It was really weird. I mean, obviously it's NASCAR and not fighter jets, but like So I'm guessing they had a lot of the same people on that same shoot. Like I think the cinematographer or the
If the
DP
camera
or
department's the
whatever.
same, it's going to look the same.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that was my takeaway from like the documentary that I watched afterwards, which you also recommended. That was really good. I really enjoyed the documentary.
I told you I got
As I
looped in.
usually
It was
do.
a YouTube suggestion, but I got
Yeah,
looped in.
yeah, it was really
All
good.
30
I
minutes.
liked it. Yeah, yeah, it was
All 30
cool. It
minutes in
was.
mellow yellow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was funny. Well, here's the funny thing. So obviously, I can tie anything to Ford v Ferrari, but one of the guys that they interviewed that was like the camera rig guy. His name's Alan Paddleford, I think. He's the guy that invented this biscuit rig that they use, and that was like one of the main rigs that they used for Ford v Ferrari, and how they were able to get some of those amazing shots. Is they have this like low profile, basically like it's not a trailer because it's connected to the cab of the vehicle, but
Mm-hmm.
like they would put the Cobra on that, and then it would look like Ken Miles was really driving on Willow Springs. Well, that
Right.
guy worked on Days of Thunder. They interviewed him in that documentary, Alan
That's
Paddleford.
awesome.
And so it's amazing that that guy has been in that career for, I mean, 30 years now or whatever. That's crazy.
Union gig.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was cool to see that a lot of these guys still had the same gig and they were still doing the same thing. So, but I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good, and I was kind of surprised that it's taken me that long to see it, but it was cool.
For me, I would never tell somebody like, you should watch Days of Thunder. It's a good movie.
Right,
but
right, right.
but I do feel very comfortable saying it's a great ride. It's a total fun
It
ride.
is.
There's adrenaline. There's like it gets you emotional too. It's funny. It's really funny actually in some parts. And
Yeah.
then what did you think of the cast? Because the acting for me, other than the certain people, it's kind of I guess it's sort of
So as much as I loved Robert Duvall, I couldn't stand Nicole Kidman, and I would imagine that's probably your same exact takeaway. Like I don't, she's always annoyed me. I don't know why. I've just never been a fan of her. But
I
Robert
don't have
Duvall was
any
amazing.
problems with her, but I'm the same.
Yeah, Robert Duvall was amazing. I thought. I mean, Tom Cruise was good in it. He
Hmm?
played the part well, whatever. But Randy Quaid, I was really surprised at him. I thought I really enjoyed his character in it. It was good, man. I had no, yeah,
Basically playing the
yeah.
Rick Hendrick part, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. That was really neat. Yeah, I liked it. But I mean, when you go back and you look at like Rick Hendrick's career and how he started with everything, it's like, oh, okay, this is basically like a biopic, basically, because I mean that's all. I mean they're mimicking his his story and his rise to success from going from a car dealer to a race team owner and whatever else. So it was cool.
I was all of would have been summer of 90, 12, 13 years old, something like that, when that movie came out. So I was the impressionable kid who was like, oh, yeah, the cars and the crashes
Hmm.
and like all that stuff. It wasn't until just the other day seeing that documentary that I learned so much stuff about it that made
Hmm.
me really, really appreciate and go back. And now that because I have a production brain, I know how you shoot a movie. I know how
Right.
you make some guy's story into a movie, you know? Um,
Hmm.
I had no idea that it was the real guy and that it was happening, or that it was based on a real guy, a real story, and that it was that real story was all happening concurrently with the movie. Like, essentially, it was almost like, you know, in the movie, you got Randy Quaid has the one driver, and and then he gets in the crash, and then they have the driver to fill in, and then when Cole gets better, now we've got two drivers, and that's like what does he say? It's
Hmm.
two roosters in the hen house, I think Harry says in the movie.
Hmm.
Um, um, now I'm on that, and I totally lost where I was going with it. But Rick Hendrick, at the same time, while doing this movie, had his own team, and then they had the movie team as well. He
Right.
was running two teams like they were
Right.
they almost had to do it that way to shoot it the way they did as accurately and authentically.
And the fact that they're really running these races is what's cool. It wasn't just like, oh, we're just gonna rent, 8 NASCARs and the drivers for this day. No, no, these cars were entered in the races, which is amazing to me.
I've been dying to ask you this question because I don't know the answer, and I'm hoping you might. Has there ever been another racing movie that actually had real, like, was using real race footage because the cars were really in the movie? Like, like
I
Le Mans and all those other
well,
ones, they're
Le Mans,
reset up. Well,
right,
there's
right,
real
right.
racing footage, but I mean, like with the actors in the cars and all that stuff.
I don't know if there ever has been. I know when they when they filmed Herbie Fully Loaded, the one with Lindsay Lohan, they ran that during the Pop Secret 500 at California Speedway. But I believe they ran like exhibition laps in between. Obviously, they're not going to let a Volkswagen
It
run
would have to
NASCAR,
be.
but because it was on that track, it was kind of the same thing as the Days of Thunder cars. Every car had to be built to those specifications. It had to have, a NASCAR certified
Oh,
chassis
interesting.
and everything else. So yeah, even though it didn't really run in the race, it was with these other cars during that race. Like that race weekend, they would run these exhibition laps, but I mean, they were still doing like 140, 150 miles an hour, which is pretty crazy, but they had to build it to those specs. But I'm not aware of any other movie that they've ever done anything like Days of Thunder, where the
When
cars
they
were
were talking
actually,
about it, it sounded like
inner.
oh, that's impressive. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know myself. I'm trying to think of it.
I don't know.
Also, I realized that because I misspoke last time, I got us down the wrong period of talking about car films, racing films, racing films. There are other car movies that maybe we
Hmm.
would have a different. I don't know. Back to the Future, I would almost consider a car movie, even though it's not really.
Oh,
I mean,
certainly.
one of the main
Christine.
characters is a car. Yeah.
Yeah, Christine's the same way.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But I realized that I was unclear last week. What blew me away with this movie, and I never thought about it, and then what you just said about Herbie Fully Loaded is that you're watching the movie and you think, oh well, Herbie's the picture car.
Hmm.
Well, no, every race car out there is a picture car. It's
Right.
not a real race, so they have to go and make all of those.
Yeah.
Like the same picture car company who made the Herbie has to go make a bunch of NASCAR. In this documentary for the Days of Thunder, which clearly I guess I should just link in the thread at the bottom, which I will at the end, talking about it so much. It was interesting. They were talking about because of the time back then, where it was sort of before the wave of all of the endorsements and everything.
Hmm.
They were able to not only replicate all the cars exactly right to the team specifications, but all of the sponsorships and every
Right.
sticker and
I
everything.
know it.
Like you couldn't get away with that today. We'd have to Greek everything.
No,
Greek
there's
is a
no way. Yeah.
industry term for making it not to be able to see. I don't know how you could make a movie like that today.
I don't know. I mean, even Herbie, that was one of the big complaints is it just felt like a big commercial for GM and all these, they had JBL speakers in the cars and like, I mean, everything was just, handouts. It just felt like a cheap commercial, like, oh, this character's driving the brand new, GTO. Remember when the GTOs came back out, like the 5.7 and the 6.0 GTOs? Well, that's what Matt Dillon's character drove. And of course, that was just coming out. So it was like all product placement. The entire thing is like a Chevy commercial if you go back and watch Herbie Fully Loaded. I don't
That's so
recommend you do it. It's a
interesting.
terrible movie. Yeah, it's an awful movie. But yeah. But
I
yeah,
still
it's
have a
basically
soft spot
just
for it though because it's Herbie, and I like the whole thing. He's in the junkyard in the beginning and he gets saved.
yeah. And then you got the connection to like Descanso Gardens, which is the scenes that I was in. We shot at Descanso Gardens, not
Out
far from
here,
where. Yeah,
right at the base of the crest.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. We shot the whole car show scene, and then part of the street race at the Descanso Gardens, and then we shot the rest
Oh,
of it in
oh.
Pomona.
When she rolls it into the car show and everyone's
Yeah, I was
making
right
fun of her
there. I
because
was
it's a
there in that
heat.
scene. Uh huh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well, I guess I know what I'm watching tonight. Now we have our homework
Oh,
for next week.
blink, and you miss me, my friend. But you can see me if you're looking close enough. I'm wearing an orange shirt because I was there with Randy Carlson's new Beetle. He was supposed to be there, and then he had something else he had to do, and he was like, "Hey, man, I know you really want to, you're into this new Herbie movie and all this." He's like, "Would you drive my new Beetle to this show?" I ended up hanging out with Wilmer Valderrama because that's who was dating Lindsay Lohan at the time, and we just talked cars the whole time. Like it was really cool.
It's very funny because I did a gig with him and my DeLorean, so that's hysterical.
Shut up. Oh yeah, he's a huge car
A
guy.
long
He
time
was
ago,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it was hilarious. So that's like what we were talking about. He had some, I don't remember what hot rod he had at the time, but we talked cars the entire time. And then Lindsay Lohan threw a temper tantrum in her trailer and wouldn't come out, and oh, it was this whole thing. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah, it was really fun.
Really?
But you can
All
see
over
me in the
there in
movie.
La Cañada, I guess it is.
Yeah, and then you can see me in one of the lobby cards. I have one of the lobby cards somewhere, and I'm like in the background going, yeah, like before the street race with the GTO. I'm in the very back. So
Do you look like you?
yeah, I look
You
like
know what I
me.
mean? It wasn't
Yeah,
like, oh no, I was 60 pounds heavier then, or no,
actually, I was like 60 pounds lighter. I was really skinny like back then, but yeah,
pretty skinny now,
you could
but
tell it's me. You could tell it's
pretty,
me.
You're pretty skinny now.
Yeah, no, I was really, really skinny then. But yeah,
What do you weigh? How
past
tall are you?
life.
Let's get the stats. People like
Like
stats.
6'1", 6'1.5", and now I'm like
Six
185.
one and
I
a
was
half.
probably
Who over 6 feet counts the half?
I
What is
do.
that?
Because I'm gonna start shrinking. When
Are you
get older,
43
shrink,
and three
so
quarters?
let's see. Probably. But yeah. Maybe that'll be your homework for the next show.
No,
You can
I'm
watch every
100% serious.
and
We're
try and
gonna.
find me in it.
Oh yeah, but no, we will watch it. I remembered enjoying it. I remember there's half of it I did. It's like most modern movies. There's half of it I don't
It's a
really
little
like because I'm an
campy.
old guy and don't really get it, and then some of it
Yeah.
I just really adore.
Yeah. It was cool. It was
I
a fun
remember it's a
experience.
Herbie movie, so I remember it having a lot of heart, and I remember the soundtrack being great. I remember there being
The
Beach
soundtrack was
Boys.
pretty amazing. Yeah, it was very like heavy on the like 70s and early 80s music, and like it was really, really good.
It
Like,
wasn't just nostalgic; it was sentimental because they were making this movie for a bunch of people that saw it 30 years ago when they were kids.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it was really cool. So I mean, it was in that respect, it was really cool to be a part of it. And then I got to go back to the premiere like a year or two later, whenever they aired the movie or it came out. I got to go to the premiere and actually hung out with Justin Long, who I absolutely love.
oh,
Who,
that's cool.
yeah, he's doing a new show with Spike on Disney Plus
You're
called like
kidding.
Shop Class. No, that was Spike's show. Yeah, but he sold it
Tell
to
me
Disney
about it. I don't know
Plus.
about it.
It's
Tell
called
everybody
Shop
about it
Class, and I
in
think
case
he
anyone else
like
doesn't.
it's called Shop Class, and I think he's kind of like a shop teacher or whatever, and they do these challenges and build stuff. It sounds really cool. I don't have Disney Plus, but it's
Oh, okay.
supposedly pretty
Do you
good.
know it's? I can't quite tell if it's a scripted show, like Head of the Class, where like he's the teacher and they're all in the
Oh
shop,
no,
or
I
is
think
it
it's like
more of
a
a
like a,
competition,
yeah. I think it's more like a
unscripted?
competition type show. Yeah,
Okay, awesome,
yeah. I
very
don't think
cool.
it's like a sitcom, but yeah, kind of cool.
Well, that's very cool. If Spike's building a studio and he's, if Hangar 56, this is a Hangar 56 production.
Yes,
I'm assuming
yes,
that's
yeah. He talked
awesome.
about it on one of his shows. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And
I
Disney bought it, and I think he was able to shoot one season before this whole COVID thing happened. So I
Spike,
guess Justin doesn't even live in LA anymore. Like he lives in Connecticut. He just flies out to do the shows and stuff.
where in
Yeah.
Connecticut?
Um, I I can't remember. I looked it up. He's from there though. And he went back there to be closer with his family. I guess he sounds like kind of like where I live. It's like a little private lake community, and he fishes, and he's
There's a
way
lot of
off the
that up there.
grid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
listing Connecticut. Spike,
Fairfield.
we're such fans, but we love video. I'm not a podcast guy, and I know there's a lot of other people that aren't. I'm sure you're working on it. It sounds like they're working on video, right? And he was asking me about it up at Breakfast Club. Can't wait for video. Can't wait for video. If there's anything we can do to help to speed along the process, please. Can't wait for video for the podcast, Spikes Car Radio. I'm a fan of yours, and I want to watch it. It's quite
Yeah,
frankly,
that'd
that's
be
where I'm
cool.
at.
Yeah, does Fairfield ring a bell? I think that's where he's
Yeah,
from. Fairfield,
it's
Connecticut.
two
Yeah,
towns away from me. We're in Fairfield County.
there you go.
Would you look it up right now, or do you just remember it?
I just remembered. It was on the tip of my tongue whenever I was trying to think of it. And
Did you watch the TV show The Office?
yeah, of course.
I know, of course, everyone says that. I've never seen a single episode of it.
Oh, it's
I
really
saw it a
good.
little
I
bit in the
liked it.
beginning, and I didn't really. I liked the British one first, so I kind of was one of those guys in the beginning where like, and then I never really caught up with it. Nicole worked on not the show, but worked with a couple of the cast members for years on that show, Craig and Rainn Wilson and stuff. They, a friend of ours owns a website or a blog website, whole thing called I'm Not a Stalker, but it's
I've heard of that.
yeah, it's got tons and tons of traffic. It's really cool, but it's about TV and movie locations and filming locations and stuff like that. And it's this girl, Lindsay Blake. Shout out to Lindsay Blake. You're awesome, Lindsay Blake. Thank you for all the awesome, fun stuff you put out for us to read and watch. But anyway, one of the things she did and went to was that location. And
Oh, no way.
sorry, not just that location. She's a big fan of the show. Forgive me. Again, I'm out of sorts today, but my recollection is coming around. She, Pam and the guy who she married, Jim and Pam, wherever they got married
Uh-huh.
or engaged. Did you know this? It was like a famous.
I didn't.
Apparently, it was a
didn't follow
famous
it that
scene.
much, but-
they got
okay.
they got engaged in the rain at some rest stop. Apparently, it was basically the Merritt Parkway. Apparently, whoever wrote the show used to stop with his family at this rest stop on the Merritt Parkway every year, and whatever. That's where they wrote it in the script. I think it's in Scranton, Pennsylvania, is where the show takes place.
Yeah,
But
that's where the
this thing
show's
is
supposed to be based.
over the border, a couple borders in Connecticut. Anyway, the reason I'm trying to tell you all of this, so stupid, so stupid. It was a tiny little breadcrumb in my mind, and I opened up a Pandora's box. Apologies. Fairfield is the rest stop, and they couldn't shoot it there, and I can't remember why. Something with shooting back and forth taxes or something like that. They ended up recreating this rest stop from my hometown on the Merritt Parkway
What?
out here in I wouldn't have known any of this if it weren't for Lindsay Blake. Out here in a Best Buy parking lot, they recreated the rest stop, the gas pumps, the whole building, the whole
No
apron,
way.
all the parking lot, the highway in both. They did a wishbone highway for anybody, it's like a wishbone shape so that they can go straight and pass each other and the cars never have to stop. So they did all of this in a parking lot in Best Buy, and all of that, it was Fairfield, Connecticut. Supposed to be Fairfield, Connecticut.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Had somebody just been able to go there with an iPhone, they probably could have actually shot the place, but they replicated it. And I looked at her pictures. I remember this place from when I was a kid. My dad used to stop there to buy cigarettes, and when you're a kid in the car and you can only like kind of look out,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
up. This place had these octagon windows that are burned into my brain forever. It was so crazy seeing it at a Best Buy parking lot out here.
That's
I don't know why the hell I
trippy.
did that. So sorry. Justin Long's from Fairfield, and there go Jay goes. Jesus, I'm drunk again. Can I talk about
man.
how Tuesdays with Tory may be my favorite thing about Tuesdays?
I definitely look forward to it now. Well, it sucks though because like today, like there's so much I wanted to talk to you about, but then we get it all out, and then there's nothing to talk about, for the show. So that's like the downside to it. Is like,
Is that we can't talk during the? Yeah,
not
you're
really,
right.
because it'll all just come out, and then there's nothing to talk about once we're on the show. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I definitely look forward to it too, man, for sure.
All right, switching gears for a second. I don't even know how long we've been going here. All right, it's been 20 minutes. We're right on time. It's perfect.
Sweet.
Let us briefly just check in on the Petrolicious controversy. I know that there has been a lot more in the world. I know Hannah Elliott did a very informative article. I learned a lot of stuff I didn't know previously for Bloomberg. And I certainly know now, based on our show, having had conversations with other people who are talking, and have certainly given me more info than just what I got from you that day. So just kind of wanted to check in with you, see where you're at and how things have been, and has anybody talked to you, and blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of died down, honestly. Like, I mean,
Oh,
obviously he put out the release that, he's stepping down as CEO or whatever. And, there's more awesome stuff headed there everyone's way, whatever. But no, I mean, since he stepped down, I haven't heard anything really.
okay. Well, that was a big one to me.
Oh, no, it totally was. But I mean, there was not really any other way that was probably going to end. I mean, that was as soon as all this, shit hit the fan, so to speak. I knew that was going to be the outcome. It was just win.
Is it one of those where it's like, it's just business?
I don't know. I mean, who knows what goes on behind the scenes? Who knows if they're actually changing ownership? I have a hard time believing he's, spent all of these years and money of his life to build up this brand, and he's just going to let it go over some shit he said. I don't believe that, but who knows? I think it's probably just semantics and PR at this point, but we'll see.
What I was taken with was once Hannah got involved, because she doesn't write fluff. She gets
We'll see. I
involved.
didn't even read her article yet, so
She
I'll have to
doesn't.
check
She
that
just
out.
doesn't. She doesn't. She's above all of that. You know what I mean? That's kind of what makes her so awesome. So she kind of, it sounds like she talked to a lot of people, and it sounds like she did her homework and then wrote the shit out of it. I don't
Yeah.
want to say too much about it. I actually encourage you to read it if you get a chance.
Yeah, I will, because there's a lot of, I mean, I have things that I could certainly air that, it's not my place because it's happened to friends or whatever, and that's their business. But I mean, very unflattering things about Petrolicious that, it's not my place to talk about. But this stuff's happened. It's not just this one isolated event, is what I'm trying to say. And it sounds like Hannah kind of came across that as well. So
That's what it sounds like more to me now. Anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I have not had a conversation with the guy. I have no idea what his intentions
yeah,
were. It seems like I don't know if anybody ever wanted to get to that, but it doesn't really matter if it's not an isolated incident. I thought it was an isolated incident, and I'm saying, well, wait a second. I've said the wrong thing so many times I can't even count.
of course
You
we
know what
all
I mean?
have.
Maybe it's one of those things. But then when I saw the nature, and then it sounds like it may not be an isolated incident, then there's different things involved, and then it comes down to what do you believe, what do you stand for, what do you want out of life, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm not going to go boycott anybody because I am not on the cancel culture, but I am definitely on board with everything you're talking about like maybe it's not really somebody you want to align with or something you want to
Yeah.
align with
And
right
that's
now.
all it was. I mean, I'm certainly not, I think the cancel culture thing is a slippery slope because once we start telling people that, you can only think a certain way or you're going to get canceled, that's not what this country's founded on. I'm not down with that. But if things like this happen to weed people out that, are shitty people, then, that's fair play, I think.
You
But
know, that's where it comes. This is we never used to get political on this show, but it seems like news is the thing these days. That's where I have a hard time because it's like you said, oh, blah, 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 shitty people. And it's like, well, what one side considers shitty people, the other side doesn't. You know what I mean? Like each
yeah,
side thinks the other side's shitty. And
yeah,
I have a hard time with that because I don't think either side's shitty. I actually think either side has a lot of benefit and either side's full blown ridiculous sometimes. You know what I mean?
yeah,
To me, I'm in the plane. I've always been one of those people. I'm in the plane. Call it a fence
right.
sitter. I don't know. I call it sanity.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of everything, and I don't know. I guess you just can't have it that way because nowadays everybody has to be happy or nobody's happy. But like
Seems like
I can't
lately it's that
understand
way.
how that world is going to work.
I don't think it's going to. I mean, that's how civil wars happen. So, you can't just think one way or the other. Like everyone's just so big on putting everyone in a box now, which is weird to me because I can't be put in a box. I think, I'll take a little from this one and a little from this one and sprinkle of this. And I mean, that's who I am. I don't identify with any one person or political, party or whatever else, religion or any of that. So what the hell happens to guys like us? I don't know. you know?
Well, I don't know. For some reason, I'm not worried about it. I don't know. I'm such a I don't know where I got my hippiedom from, but I'm such a like a love will prevail kind of guy. I don't know. I really don't know where any of that comes from. There's some like crazy tether of belief or faith. But from what I'm looking at when I go outside these days, it definitely seems to be getting worse before it gets better. I mean, like
Oh yeah.
half the people are more friendly than ever, and half the people would. It's like Ghostbusters would rather spit on you than look at your face.
Yeah, I know. That's why
So
I don't leave the
it's
house a
sort of
lot.
like everything. The whole country has turned into '80s New York, and maybe that was the plan. I don't know.
I don't know
Great time
either.
for Ghostbusters, though. I'm staying.
Yeah, it's never been more relevant.
Are you? I mean, I know you're into the original movies. Have you been following like any of the new stuff for the new Jason
I was
Reitman film?
super excited. Was not a big fan of the Kristen Wiig one. I watched it. It was
Well, but we
not
can't really.
good.
That's not. That's like including the cartoon. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay.
It's
Well, I
not.
loved the
It's not.
cartoon when I
It's
was a
not
kid.
part
I
of the
had all
same
the toys.
canon.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, I didn't mean.
Well,
Yeah, no. That came across very disrespectful. I did not mean it like that. What I meant by that was the original two movies are part of one story. The cartoon was like another universe. And same
yes,
thing with
yes,
this the Kristen Wiig and all the Leslie Jones and everything. It was a
yeah, yeah,
different
yeah.
universe. Like all of the
Well, thank
Ghostbusters
God.
were in it, but they weren't playing them the same characters.
Themselves.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a
Yeah.
different
No,
universe.
I'm really excited about the new one though.
This one brings us
That's
back to the
now been
original
delayed.
universe with
Yes.
Venkman and Spengler and all of the original
Yeah.
characters, whether we see them or not.
Yeah. And then the
That's
kid
the
from Stranger
universe.
Things. Like, yeah, I think that's gonna be badass.
I'm
I'm
a big
really
fan of the
excited for
mom
that.
too, Carrie, whose name I
Yes.
can't remember, but from The Leftovers.
Yes. Yeah.
Big
It's
fan
gonna
of
be a
hers.
good. It's gonna be a good flick, man. And like, I feel like they got it right with the movie car. The Ecto one, or is it the 1A or 1B? I'm not an Ecto guy, but what
It
would
would
that
be
be?
the
Is
Ecto
this
One
the
how they have it
1C?
looking, but you told me
Okay.
it's really the Ecto 1A in real life.
I believe so. Yes. Yes. I'm
Where else are you
stoked,
going to
man.
find
I think
another
that's gonna be good.
59 without buying it from a fan?
I know.
You know?
It's now it is a Miller Meteor. Is that what it is? A Miller Meteor
Yeah, hearse ambulance
ambulance?
combo. Hearse ambulance
Okay,
combo.
gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
So often you'll just hear a millimeter combo.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy pants, right?
But I'm excited about this one because at first I was like, oh shit, are they gonna release this, like the home release or whatever, like they're all doing? And thank God they're not gonna do that.
I
It's
know,
gonna
but
be
then
like
we'd have it already.
we would have it already, but this is one of the few movies that I want to see in a theater.
Oh,
Like there's just
piss off.
certain
It's going to
movies.
ruin it. I want to. The theater
I'll take my
experience is
chances
not
with
like it
COVID.
was in 1984
I
or
know, but
1989.
I'll take my chances with COVID to see this one in the theater, dude. I think it's
Oh,
gonna
I
be
didn't
good.
mean that. I mean cell phones and people and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I don't
Commercials
have to
on the
worry about that
screen.
here. Yeah, here it's nice because nobody goes to the movies here, and I live in the middle of nowhere. So like I can
Oh,
literally go to any movie, and I'm usually the only person there. Especially if I do like a matinee or something
I'm
during the
100% with
weekday.
you then.
Love
I'm
that. Oh, it's
100% with
fantastic.
you.
That's why I kept going back to watch Ford v Ferrari so many times because it was literally like my personal private screening every time. It was awesome.
On a big
So, and the
screen.
movies here are cheap, super cheap movies here. I think it's like they even have like free popcorn days here on Mondays or something. It's
Just come
that's
here.
like
Just come hang out with us. Watch our movie.
yeah, it's one of the perks of small towns, man. But
No, I'm
yeah, we
with you.
don't
I
have
mean,
any
that
of the
was the
ones.
reason I saw Back to the Future 7 times in the theater when I was a kid, and Ghostbuster 5 or 6 times in the theater. That was the
Yeah,
same reason. They were little local cinemas.
yeah.
In fact, one of where I saw Goonies, not Back to the Future, Ghostbusters though for sure, and like all of those places from our youth is
Hmm.
on Elm Street in New Canaan, which is right where they do cars and carburetors, caffeine and
No
carburetors.
way. Are you serious?
Yeah,
How funny is that?
yeah. It's either there or at Waveney. But growing up in that town, it was the place. There was Wilton Cinema, which was actually not twinned, and then there was New Canaan. I think it was called Playhouse, New Canaan Playhouse. I can't believe again we're going through the old memory banks of information that doesn't matter.
Hmm.
But man, you bring it back. These are all memories with my dad too, who passed away when I was very young. So it's like
Hmm.
it's good. It's really
Yeah.
good vibes for me.
That's
That's
awesome,
cool.
man. I saw Ghostbusters and Back to the Future at the Midland Park Mall Cinema. So it was actually like you would go in at the food court, and that's where it was at. There's like
Oh,
a
cool.
Fuddruckers next door, and then the movie theater, and then like when you come out of the theater, you go right into the food court. But I remember seeing Back to the Future. That was game changer. Like seeing that
Yeah,
on the big screen as a kid was just nuts.
same here. That was
Crazy.
Greenwich Playhouse for us.
That's so funny. We always end up on movie cars. It's so hilarious. We should just do a movie car podcast or something.
It's not a bad idea. I don't know what the hell to do. I mean, I'm really enjoying this though. I
It's
mean,
just funny
this is
because
what?
it's just funny because we always end up on it, and it's still something you can tell we're like passionate about, even though we still want nothing to do with it. Really, it's just weird, like dichotomy. I don't know
Here's what I
why.
can't figure out. We keep coming up with new stuff. You keep saying something that'll bring more out of me that I didn't remember. When I was going through pictures,
I'm
all right,
triggering all
can
this.
we switch gears just for a second to the Mythbusters? The Mythbusters.
Yes, we can, and honestly, like I don't know your connection with them,
Well,
so
that's what I
I'd
was
love
just
to
going to
hear
say.
about that
But this is a
as
great
well.
segue.
Yeah.
Going through pictures last night because I couldn't believe what I saw when I got the thing, and I grabbed my laptop to go. Couldn't even think. You know what I mean? Like it was like a weird. We weren't close. I am not. I was not best friends with Granny Mahara, but we were friends with all those guys, and it was just really shocking. So I went and grabbed my laptop and I just started going back to old photos in the however your library get the scroll going way back into like 2014,
Yeah.
13, 12 into like stuff I haven't thought about in forever. Pre MS for us. Like this is happily
Hmm.
working in the industry days.
Your
And
old life.
and there were so many more instances or memories or events or things that we had done together that I didn't even remember in an X amount of time. Like I remembered being at Comic-Con or being, visiting them at the studio or doing things, but I completely forgot that like they came to some events we like Sketchfest and all right. So the backstory is I don't have a connection with the Mythbusters. We're just friends. We're just friends. I never
Really?
worked on the show. We know she never worked on the show. We know everybody who did. We're very good friends with literally. We were friends of the show. And how that started was when I used to work on Everybody Hates Chris. There was a
Hmm.
incredibly talented writer on that show called Owen Smith, and he has a great podcast out as well. And he's a famous, really funny famous comedian. You should go check him out. Owen Smith, we love you. But anyway, he said at some point, oh man, he came in the set. He was like, oh man, I was just in San Francisco and hung out with Tory from the Mythbusters, and we had such a good time. And there was like this whole thing, and I was like, oh, it's crazy. I love those guys. Oh, that's amazing. He's like, well, if you're ever in San Francisco, I'll hook it up. And we had to go to San Francisco for something. I think we were there with clients. I can't remember who. But I think it was for Sketchfest, so it was probably Children's Hospital, so it was probably Rob Corddry and that whole crew. But because we were there at the same time, or because we were there, I reached out and hey, whatever, I got the information. Doesn't matter. We got to know them that trip. I'm going to tell you the whole fucking story like it matters. It doesn't matter. We got to know them that trip, and became friends where we hung out a lot, and it was really, really cool. And it was like we would go up for the weekend often and just hang out. And, these were the drinking days too. So there was a lot of socialization, a lot of dinners, a lot of
course.
One night we hung out at fucking the Getty's house, not J. Paul Getty, because I think he's dead, but whatever. One of the kids had an incredible place in San Francisco. Just amazing stuff.
Wow.
And Grant, we got to know, it was really more Carrie, Tory, and Grant more than Adam and Jamie. They were in a different place, and we met them and stuff, but we really knew the M7 crew. And we got to know them all individually, because they're all, they're such a great team, but they're all completely different people. And and Grant, he had a girlfriend down here at the time that I found out, I think they're actually still together, which regardless of whether you are or not, our love to you, Jennifer Newman. I am beside myself. I am so sorry for everything that you're going through right now. And I know that you have the strength to get through it, and I know you will. But know that there are a tremendous amount of people who are hurting with you right now. So anyway, he lived in San Francisco, but she was here in LA. So whenever he was in town, we would see each other. And he was people don't know this about him, he was a little bit of a car guy too. Grant had a Cayman.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yes, he did. Grant had a Cayman, and he didn't drive it like we drive, but he loved it. He really loved it, and he was totally into it. But like we would go out to dinner at this, you talked about Back to the Future in the food court. There's this mall downtown that has these great restaurants in it. And it's not a food court. I mean, it's almost like the restaurants are the stores in the mall. But we would go to sushi with them, and he was just an incredibly generous, giving, warm, I don't know how to describe it, but one of the best people on the earth.
He seemed like such a good motivator for kids too, because I read an article today about him, and he was working on some robotics show or something with some kids, and they were like, we can't do this. And he shook them and was like, I'm going to show you how, and yes, you can, and it's like, God, why do we lose people like that? Those are the people we need more than anything right now, it seems like. And I just don't understand it, man.
The weird thing about Grant, man, it's everything you're going to hear about him in the coming days is true. He would give his time to anyone. He would come help you and get involved with anything creative you were working on. If it was a podcast, if it was an R2-D2, if it was a Wall-E, it doesn't matter. Star Trek. He's into all that stuff, and he would share his enthusiasm with you in the same way you were with him. He was totally into prop building and stuff. I posted a video of us in the kit car, a Knight Rider.
I saw that. That was so cool.
He was great. He was a really great guy who I wish was still here. And the thing is, the last 5 years or so, our life has been different, and we haven't been as close. And I hadn't seen him in years. We figured out it was we think it was probably 5 years. Mm-hmm. And that was the same thing with Grant and Carrie and Tory. And all I know is the first thing I did was, today was reach out to both Carrie and Tory, who are, both responded, but are both, Tory's heartbroken.
I'm sure devastated.
It was like a brother, and the three of them, they all came up together. They all had their own things, and they were all doing their own things, but they all came up together on that show. And we all know them from that show, It's really wild. It's really wild, and I'm just so sorry for both of them and what they're going through too. and all of the people who knew him way better than the Ryans did.
Yeah.
So yeah, R.I.P. Grant Imahara. Let's see. I know I've got some photos here I was gonna show. I don't know if it matters if anybody cares or not. Oh, I need to show these because there's some here for you. Let's see. We'll start here.
Did you watch his show, The White Rabbit Project?
It was the three of them, and it was Netflix, right?
Correct. Yeah,
I
I've
did
never
watch
seen
it,
it,
yeah.
but was it good?
It was. I mean, it was basically M7 doing their thing, but like with a budget and sort of like, you know, high tech stuff. It was very cool and a little more high tech than they used to do, but it was really cool. Let's see, share this device. I was doing this before. I guess it timed out. Here we go. All right, let's see. These are just random pictures that were in there, but this was from Comic-Con one year.
Oh, wow.
There we are. This was the first day we had met. We were up there at the studio, thanks to Owen Smith, like I said, hanging out with Tory. And that same night, we said, "Oh, we've got this thing, whatever. You know, we're doing it wherever it was, some venue in town. It was Sketchfest. It was Sketchfest in San Francisco, huge comedy festival. And we invited them all to come after work, and they totally did. They went home, they changed, they got dolled up and whatever, and they totally came, and it was really fun.
Wow.
Grant, where are we? We are sitting in Kit. Kit, like from Knight Rider. From Knight Rider, man.
Hesitate to bring this up again, but I've done a complete search of my records and still find no record of Michael's underground mission.
Ugh, this is absolutely the coolest.
Yeah,
How
good
cool
stuff.
is that? Whose
Good
kit was
stuff.
that?
I don't remember, but somebody awesome, because the car was really, really awesome. And that over there is Katie Darrell. I don't know if you remember her from. She's hosts a lot of shows on Access TV. She used to host Deadline. This week on Deadline.
Yeah, yeah.
That's Katie Darrell. So she, I hadn't talked to her in a while either, and you know how everybody comes out of the woodwork when stuff happens. And
Oh, sure.
you know, this picture came up, and she's like, "You, Grant, was such a good friend of yours. You always talked about how fun and what a great guy he was. And then when we got to meet him, he was all of that and more. You know, it was like really incredible stuff. Really incredible stuff. This was that party I told you about, where Michael Rooker was there. This
No
was a
way.
going away party for Benny, who is up there behind me. Benny was the cinematographer for Mythbusters for a number of years, and he went back to Australia and now owns a beautiful inn with his wife.
Wow.
But let's see, this was I can't remember where the heck this was. And this is not how I intended to do this. It's just my camera roll here.
Oh, no, it's all good.
This was backstage, probably at that thing I told you at Sketchfest, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, this was when Grant was building his proton pack. He was so proud of it.
cool.
Oh my God. He would send me pictures all the time of the stuff he was working on because he knew like I was into it too.
Oh, yeah. So he's just a big nerd like us.
How funny is this? While I was going through pictures, there's
Oh, look at that.
Mrs. Ryan with a NASCAR.
Funny.
This was down at K1. This is totally unrelated, but I found those while I was looking at it. Oh, it's another picture from that same night.
Way to tie it all together with Days of Thunder, man.
How about this, buddy?
Nice. The Shelby warehouse there.
Yeah, this is so remember I said the other day, this is what it looked like when I was there last.
That's cool. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? August 26th,
That is
2012,
crazy.
whenever this was.
Wow. That's
I know.
nuts.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man, that's a sad thing about Grant. It's the same thing that killed my mom. Brain aneurysm.
Really?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
I mean, there's no way to. That's the type that you just drop dead. Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
to
my mom.
It's not
My
like,
mom didn't. Yeah, it was weird. Most people do. My mom didn't. She did survive the initial event, but then she was basically just on life support for a week. But,
Oh.
yeah. There's two types of aneurysms from what I was told. There's aortic, which is your heart, which is like what feeds your heart. If that ruptures, you pretty much you're dead before you hit the ground, I guess. The brain one is survivable, but more often than not, you're not. You don't walk away from it. So yeah, it's a sad thing, man. It's unfortunate.
I think, I worked with Sharon Stone on a TV show called The Practice, and she, I think we've talked about this on the show before, but she experienced an aneurysm and
I didn't know
survived
that.
it, obviously.
Really?
And she credited the aneurysm with being her sort of second lease on life, her grand awakening of what's important and what to live for and everything.
Right.
And she used to date Gary Shandling too. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny how they would both rely on the.
Did she really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how official
know
that
that.
is. I think they went out. I know they went out.
Wow. You'll have to pardon me. I'm looking on my Google Maps to find. She's from like 30 minutes from where I live right now. She grew up.
Who?
Sharon Stone.
You're kidding.
No, I can't
funny.
remember the name of the city, but it's a little like there's nothing to it. It's a little tiny city in between here and Erie. But yeah, she grew up there. Yeah, I'll have to think of it. It'll pop into my head like it did with Justin Long's town. But yeah, she's from Western Pennsylvania. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I can't think of too many people that.
Most people don't survive an aneurysm.
I have a friend who he was in these pictures, as a matter of fact, not these ones literally, but the ones as I was going through, because he passed away at the same time while we were up in San Francisco on one of those trips. Just dropped dead. He had a headache for a
That's what
couple
happened.
days, stayed home, and one night I guess that headache got worse, and he just
Man,
crazy pants, right?
49, dude. Like that's so
Oh,
young.
this one, yeah. Gosh,
That's crazy.
yeah. R.I.P.
Sucks.
Grant Imahara, and just man, left everybody else out there. Sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know
It does
why it
suck.
hit me. I think because it was one of those people that you thought you'd see again. He was
Yeah.
he was so great and so bright, and I don't mean smart, although he was effing brilliant. He was so bright. He was such a bright light. His eyes
It's a
shined
positive
bright.
force.
Yeah, and just you could see it in his eyes. His eyes shined bright, and I just intended to see him again. That's why, like I said, that's why I reached out to Carrie and Tory, because I. By the way, Cary Grant and Tory is one word. This is going to take some training to not have Grant be
Yeah,
part
I know.
of.
It's like the Three Musketeers, man.
Yeah, just in the way you say it, though, it's like a proper name. Weird. Were you a fan of Mythbusters? Did we ever talk about that?
I loved Mythbusters. Are you kidding me? That was totally up my alley. Used to watch
Yeah.
Mythbusters all the time. Yeah, I loved it. Because they
Did
do a
you-
lot of stuff with airplanes too. Like a lot of times when I was based in Oakland, we would take off and then we bank left and kind of go over the bay. And I'd always look down and they were usually filming right there. Alameda is where they filmed a lot of stuff, I think. So I
Right.
would always see them set up or whatever. And I was always wondering like, oh, what myth are they working on today? Oh, I loved that show. And then it was cool that Tory, his name is exactly spelled like mine because you never see other guys named Tory.
Yeah, I know. And,
so
and
I've always
believe me,
loved the
trying to
fact
text
that
you
we
today
have the
back and
same
forth,
name, which
now
is
that you're
cool.
both back up there. You're both at the top of my text
How funny is
thing.
that? That's funny. Two Tories.
Crazy pants.
Yeah, that's one of those things, man. It's gonna take a while to sink in, probably. That's that just sucks.
It's wild. I just
Yeah.
I don't know. You hate to be like, that's not the one you'd think would go, and I don't mean that. Who the hell would say a thing like that? It's still such a surprise to me.
Yeah. Well, you
don't
don't
know.
expect someone that's 49 that still has, still setting the world on fire to just not be here the next day. That's
Maybe
what's
that's the
crazy.
simplicity of it. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the simplicity of it. He was always
just his
active. He
age.
was always doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then now he's gone.
Oh well. Man, wah wah. All right. Anything else we should talk about? I don't know how we are in time.
I don't know. We can't end on this though. Let's talk
No.
about something. Let's bring it back.
Well,
I don't
what's
know.
homework
What do you
for
wanna
next
talk
week?
about?
Where I have to watch Herbie.
You have to watch Herbie Fully Loaded.
Fully Loaded.
Yeah, you have to. It'd be like, where's Waldo? Find the.
Well, that scene is not very long. I'll find you.
No, it's not. No. You'll see me. Well, it's funny because we switch between Descanso Gardens and then it's supposedly like we turn a corner and then it's going to be Pomona Fairplex. So like you'll see all that. Like you'll know that, like, oh, I know that's the parking lot for Descanso Gardens, and then you're going to see like this wide open blacktop that's the Pomona Fairplex. So it's kind of funny because they try to stitch it all together. It
that when it-
ruins it though when you see all that.
Is
Because
that when
you're
it
like,
goes to
this
the
isn't
car
how
show
this
to the street
happened.
race?
Yeah. That's how the scene goes. Like, yeah, Herbie keys the GTO with his side view mirror, and I come
Yeah.
out like you'll see me. I come out. I'm like the first person that comes out, and I'm like, oh, like you'll see me like do
Oh,
that.
I
It's
can't
funny.
wait. I
Oh,
can't
it's
wait
so
now. That's
stupid.
very funny.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
But yeah,
Can I talk about how stupid I felt watching back the clip of the Dodger hat? I felt so
why?
stupid.
Because you didn't know this was an LA Dodgers hat.
Well, yeah.
I you could show me 100 hats, and I probably would not know what they were for. Like what sports team? Like, I mean, obviously, I would guess this is a Los Angeles team of some sort, but I'm not going to be
It
able to
didn't
tell you if
occur
it's
to me. To
football or
me, it
baseball
just
or
says L.A. So I just thought L.A.
yeah, just oh, he likes LA, which is ironic because that's
Randy
the only
Newman,
reason
I love
bought the
L.A.
hat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
This was given to Mrs. Ryan the other day up at Breakfast Club. So shout out to Motor Co. And it looks like a T-shirt or a tank or something here for her. Ah, cool.
oh, Nicholas
cool.
Hunziker texted me today. By the way.
Who did?
Oh, that's cool. Hunziker texted me today, and he is now offering masks.
I sent him a message about that. That's a riot because I got the
Did you?
email
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very
That's
cool.
a cool shirt.
She had it out and she was going to wash it the other day, and I was like, "People give us that
Sweet.
stuff so that we can promote their stuff." I was like, "Give me that back. Don't wash it yet." Now she can wash it.
I just love that we're both wearing the yellow early 911s today. That's so funny. We didn't even-
Hunziker and Carpe,
Whoa.
and without having any type of we should do this.
Look at that. Pow.
I guess I'm actually doubling up on the Hunziker. I got my under
hilarious.
and my over.
Oh man, look
That's
at
how
you.
fueled by
Double
passion
stacks.
I am.
Double
Hang on. I'm
stacks.
so fueled by passion. I have this many red tags. How many do you have?
That's funny. What did you Breakfast Club from last Friday? You want to talk about that at all? Like how was
Oh
that?
yeah, because very good call. Johnny Lieberman, total surprise, he was up there. He just a drive, and he was there when we got there, and he came running over. He's like, "Hey, you guys!" It was awesome. I had no idea it was him, so because he was had a mask on, like everybody, and he had just recently trimmed his beard or something. So it was just a guy in a ball cap, sunglasses, and a mask. I mean, could be anybody.
That's hilarious.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? And Mrs. Ryan wasn't even out of the car, and he's like, "Oh, I was going to talk to you guys about. I wanted to. Can I be on your back on your podcast?" And he's doing all the podcasts now, because everybody's available and it's podcast season. It's podcast crazy. So anyway, he's going to be here tomorrow,
That's awesome.
or he won't be
Very
here
cool.
tomorrow. We'll be doing this tomorrow.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool. And you saw another Ford v Ferrari movie car too at the kitchen, right?
Did not. Oh, yeah, that was huge. What a zoo at the COVID and Coffee or Cars and COVID or whatever.
Dude, I'm afraid that's
going
going to get shut down. I'm afraid people are going to start like,
Bro, this may be the last one. Let's talk about it just for a second. The crowd was amazing, and it was awesome, and everybody was respectful and masked up, and keep their distance as much as they could and stuff. So, like, as far as that goes, no problem. No loud revving, no burnouts.
Yeah, everyone's
nothing.
respectful
Everything
out
fine.
there. Yeah.
Although we did leave pretty early, but all of that stuff fine. Before we left, the CHP Chargers started just cruising,
streaming.
coming in a couple at a time, just cruising.
Yeah, we got our eye on you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, in my mind, I'm like, this license plate, I'm seeing Cannonball Run, you know what I mean? I'm like, this license plate, this is license plate. And sure enough, when we left at, usually 8 to 10 is usually what we're there. When we left at 10, there's a little road called Civic Center Way that ironically is the first street I lived on when I moved here in Los Angeles, a little tiny sublet from somebody at Pepperdine. But you take that road and it just is sort of a cut through to get you back up to Los Virginias or Malibu Canyon, that cuts back to Calabasas through the tunnel and everything that you would know. So it's just this tiny little street. So we always take it because it's sort of the back. It doesn't matter, but it's sort of the back way out of the kitchen, and then you just snake back onto the highway, and then you zoom through the canyon home.
Yeah, we tried to take that one time that I was out there, and it was closed. Remember? So we had to
because
take
of the
long way
fires,
back
probably.
around.
Right.
Yes.
So it was wide open, but it was wide open season is really what I should say. CHP. I should give a shout out to those guys because they're awesome. West Valley, I believe, CHP West Valley. No exaggeration, about 50 cop cars between Malibu Kitchen and the tunnel. The tunnel.
Wow.
They were set up in at least 2, sometimes 3 or 4, and they were all in like hot and cocked positions. Like one was, there with the radar or whatever, and the other ones were just boom, boom, boom. They would just come out, and they had everything pulled over. Everything. And 2 came out. I passed 2. I waved, did my usual thing, and 2 pulled out right behind me and started coming up the hill towards the church and everything. I was like, oh, geez, well, they're going to light me up any second. And then I thought better of it, and I was like, no, I don't think so. They probably know us. That's what I told myself. But no, they nothing. They didn't light us up. Literally, I looked back again, and they disappeared. So they must have been going back to their hiding spot or whatever. But they were getting everybody.
Was that you that posted that picture of there was like 6 or 8 Porsches pulled over?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't
I saw
me.
a picture.
But I
Maybe
did.
it was
We saw
Spike.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it had to been. It must have been Spike or somebody, but someone posted a picture and they're like Malibu Canyon Road right now. Just a heads up, and it was like 8 early 911s all pulled over, dude. Like
Yeah.
2 CHP cops. I was like, oh god. So yeah.
I came home,
But
and I
they've been
told
talking
Nicole,
about that for the last couple of weeks. Like they've been saying that like it's been really bad. That like I don't know if it's just out of control or people driving like asshats, but they're starting
be
to clamp
both.
down. It sounds like. Yeah,
Yeah, I
probably.
don't know.
So I don't know. Crazy.
I came home, and I remember telling Nicole, I was like, they're gonna like. I see a future where like car clubs are illegal or something. Back like in the
Yeah.
old days where like they shut it down, because it's
Yeah.
getting big. I mean, I certainly hope nothing like that happens.
Well, it just seems like every like cool cars and coffee that you guys get in LA, like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it pops, and then they are like no more. Like
Yeah.
Irvine, Trancas, like now it seems like Malibu Kitchen's kind of going that way. So
I don't see a
know
car
how it's
show ever going anywhere. Like I don't see cars and coffees ever dying. I think they'll always get killed off and pop up somewhere else, but more on the lines of like the groups of cars and stuff like that. Because I don't know what the heck they were looking for the other day, but crazily enough, our yellow car with numbers on it and like race dirt didn't get pulled over. You know what I mean? Like everything else that had numbers or graphics on it or anything that was, Italian with a loud exhaust was on the side. I mean, it was crazy. It was driving down. It was a it kind of looked like the studio, a mixture between black and white from the cruisers and rainbow Skittles from all the different like exotics
Oh,
up and
man.
down the
You think
the
they're
canyon.
clamping down on like exhausts and stuff now, or
Maybe, and if that's the case, then like, oh, all right, fine. Like then at least
Yeah.
they're not shutting it down.
Yeah,
Maybe it's exhaust and tint and registration
Yeah.
and insurance. Like maybe it's just making sure all that stuff's current.
because I
Which
know as
if
cops
you're
go,
over
like-
there, it effing should
Yeah.
be.
yeah,
Because otherwise you are
exactly.
asking for it.
Yeah. Ugh, that's not good, man. Bummer.
I
Yet
mean, I'm one of
again,
those
another
people.
reason-
It depends on what you're. You can have so much fun at 5 over. It depends on your car. If you're
Yeah.
driving a Lambo or whatever, I get why they have to speed because they don't feel like they're doing anything. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah. No, that's why I think your car is the sweet spot for 911s. I really do. Anything past that's so fast that you're just on cruise control. It's like, eh.
Well, you remember I told you I was romping on my friend's GT3 touring up at the Crest 2 weeks ago, something like that. And he bought it a year ago, but it was the first time I had a chance to drive it up there. Awesome. So blisteringly fast. For me to drive at a rate where I felt comparable to driving yellow car, like at a clip where
Right.
it felt like, all right, now I'm getting it to do what I want it.
Yeah.
Now the car is responding in the way I want it to for me to
Yeah.
drive comfortably. Now we're actually safest than we've been the whole time. We were going so effing fast. A number I'm not going
Yeah.
to say on the show, but I mean, a number that would probably even blow you away. And
Wow.
it was like, and that wasn't me, that was the car.
That's the
That
car.
was the car.
Yeah.
It was so effing capable. Like
Yeah, I know.
we actually came back and we said, I don't think there's a car more capable for the Crest.
Yeah.
Like you really would have to because it's manual. You know what I mean? Like you should be in tune the whole time. You really have to. Although I shouldn't say any of this because one just went off the other day.
I know that's the one I sent you the picture of, right?
All right,
it was a GT3 Touring. Wow. Well, I mean, it
could be anything too. That could have been a rock or a deer. I don't know the circumstances on that.
It's capable until it's not. I mean, it's just like guys with motorcycles. You get comfortable with it, and then all of a sudden, I don't know.
Well, you are comfortable with it until the circumstances change, right? Like until the
yeah.
status quo is no longer the status quo.
Right.
Like, so within a certain comfort level or a certain canyon or a certain road or a certain radius turn or whatever, like maybe they're aces. But man, you get one different thing where, the altitudes are different and their oxygen level is different.
Or it's a little wet today or
a little tighter, a decreasing radius instead or something like that.
You throw one stupid little variable in and then that comfort bites you in the ass every time. It sucks, man.
You know, a thing that happens Go ahead.
Go ahead.
A thing that happens up at the crest a lot, I mean, a thing that happens at elevation is apoxia, where you're either breathing too much, too little, whatever, but you're not on your. So
you're not on your A game.
Your thoughts are not there.
Yeah.
Well, while you think they are, your reflexes are not there while you think they are. It's not dissimilar to being drunk. You're just I will get home, no problem. But because I didn't have a drink, I'm not drunk, so there can't be anything. You have to. It's not like being a fighter pilot, but.
Well,
you have to kind of almost think about that stuff with your breathing and your chest and stuff, because if you don't, it could be very easy to.
That's why you have to give credit to guys like Jeff Zwart that can race freaking Pikes Peak. I mean, do they have oxygen? Surely they'd have to.
I don't know the answer to that. I bet they do at the top, but I don't know if he does in the car.
I would think that they would, because that would be dangerous if they didn't. Because those guys are hauling ass. You'd think that they'd have to have some sort of.
What's the peak up there? What does it go up to?
Oh God, I don't know. It's got to be
12
more
or 13,000, right? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got to be crazy. So,
I think we skydived at 12 and a half.
Wow.
And that was like the higher of the, what you could pay for.
Yeah.
So and by the way, the air is thin up there. I'm sure it's probably because of the nerves and you don't know what you're doing and everything too. But like the air is thin. Like I definitely hit the oxygen one time. We did it twice. One time I didn't need it, and one time I totally took it.
Wow. Is that guy okay that was in the GT3 Touring? Have you heard?
Oh, not a scratch. Not a scratch.
Wow.
He didn't go, he went down 25 feet. He didn't go down. Okay. He flipped it. I think he rolled down, but whatever he was doing, it couldn't have been, he didn't fly.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Oof.
And I don't know who that was, but Sarah from LA Dismantlers posted it. And Sarah, we love you. I got to come see you. I told Sarah I would donate all the interior, all the stuff we ripped out of Yellow Car. I still have it. It's just in a closet downstairs. Cool. And I was like, bring it over to you. Add it to, just put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
And she's like, great, if you want to go shopping, maybe we'll figure out a trade. I was like, that doesn't suck. No problem.
Done. That's cool. Yeah, Nick said that I guess she helped him out with an exhaust for his GT3. I guess he's building some new exhaust for the GT3 that he's got. So
I'm so excited for him with all of the stuff he's always got going on.
Yeah,
like he's one of those people who you never see him doing stuff because it's all behind the scenes. He's got car projects going on. He's obviously his art, but some of the other stuff, not just his art car. He's got other projects with other people going.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool.
Super cool.
He's staying busy. He's loving this COVID, I'm sure, because he's not a happier person than when he's in the studio just working, and that's exactly what he's been able to do. So that's been nice. And I think Dwight too, honestly, the same way. Those new studies he's doing with the women's faces, those are so cool.
I love it.
Porsche.
I love it.
Yeah, he's working on number 3 right now. It's a brunette this time, so that'll be cool to see. So,
interesting. I love the combo of the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and the yellow, the red lips.
Yeah, it's like kind
cool.
of it's just comic book pop art looking. It's super cool, man. Love it.
But there's also and he certainly knows what he's doing. But there also was a contemporary artist that had stuff like that and did dots a lot of times with dots, sometimes too, like
I know
dots
what you're talking
as well.
about.
You know what I'm talking about? Super cool stuff. And it ties into all of that, but yet it's also like Marilyn Monroe, like mid-century too, like super cool.
Yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes. It's no wonder they're sold before he even finishes them, So
there is a tremendous amount of art going on these days. I'm loving it. I'm loving Porsche gear with their T-shirts and their mugs and their laptop cases. Like they have everything now. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's never been a better time to be a car person. There's definitely no shortage of swag you can buy nowadays. It's cool. So,
is anything happening out by you? Like, is anything going on there?
it's starting to shut back down now. Because obviously everyone's following suit of these other states or whatever.
Right.
We have to wear masks in public everywhere now. Like even if you're outside,
Just like the big city.
Yeah, just like the big city, which is kind of weird. But
makes you not want to leave, doesn't it?
It does, and I don't. So
Yeah.
like, it's fine. I mean, I just hang out at the lake. So yeah, I mean, went fishing this weekend. I was on the boat, and like it was nice. So
I'm gonna come drive out and visit you. It sounds awesome.
anytime you want, man. If you need to get away from the big city and all the craziness, man, just come. Spend a few days in the bubble. It's nice. I like it.
Is there a not a curfew? What do you call it? A quarantine for like a 14 days? Like I can't go home to Connecticut because there's a 14-day quarantine.
I don't think in Pennsylvania there is. No, I know like certain airports in Chicago. I think like there's 2 airports in Chicago. We fly to one of them, Midway, and you're supposed to quarantine like if you've come through states or something. I don't even know. I don't even keep track of all that because it doesn't apply to me.
Because as of tomorrow, you're on vacation.
Oh man, it's so weird. I'm not gonna know what to do with myself. Like everyone else is like, you're so lucky that you're getting a paid leave. Like that's so cool. But like, I've been flying for 18 years. I'm going absolute stir crazy right now.
How are you without the personal contact? I mean, you went from dealing with hundreds of people a day, to being holed up in your house with your car in the barn.
I mean, I used to dream about that when I was working, I just want to be alone, leave me alone. I want to work on the car, blah, blah, blah. But like now it's just, it's not necessarily that I don't like it. It's that I don't know what to do with it because I'm always like, I'll be flying again next week or I've got to psych myself up for this. So, I mean, it's been a change. It's weird.
The grass is always greener, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I know that's
right?
me when I'm hardcore and prep and then shoot and then post. I'm like, I can't wait to be off for weeks or a month in the old days or whatever it was between jobs.
Yeah.
Man, when you're at home
and then you just want to go back to work.
Once you're rested, once you're rested and reset, it's like, what the hell? Go to work. Let's
now
go to
what?
work. Yeah, that's the rest when I'm dead kind of thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll find something to do with my time. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to be off until March now. So
that's awesome. All right. Well, then we'll have to plan all sorts of stuff. What's your homework for next week? Well, I guess we'll just talk about that. No.
Do I have homework?
No, I didn't have any last week. I forgot. I did watch it again, though. I told you. We watched it together. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh, I might have forgotten. Yeah. So I remember I told you I watched it, but I didn't really watch it. It was more like in the background when I was working. So we definitely, after we talked about it on the show, we watched it. So I watched it this week also.
That's cool. It was a good show, man. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was very Top Gun-ish,
Viva la Days of Thunder.
Still fun. Yeah, it was cool, man.
How about she worked with him too, but in comedy. How about can't think of his name right now, but Shake and Bake, John C. Reilly.
Oh, John C. Reilly. Yeah.
I thought he was great as that. He was so meek. He was a young buck in that.
Yeah.
Like young and hungry, Hollywood actor trying to make it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was funny.
All right.
Yeah, he was good.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. I'm sorry that sorry you lost a friend today. It sucks.
Thanks, man.
I think everybody is kind of feeling bummed because, everyone lost a good person today. That sucks.
You can feel it out there. You could definitely feel it on social media. I can't believe how many people posted stuff or changed their profile picture or whatever. Really cool.
Well, you want to know the really horrible thing about that is so many people don't know how many lives they touched until it's too late. That's what sucks. That to me is the ultimate I don't know. Maybe we need to be better about telling people while they're still here. How about that?
I agree with
Getting all teary, man. We gotta wrap this up.
I see it. We'll cut from you. All right. Well, on behalf of Mr. Tory Alonzo, VW for Life, and myself, Jay Ryan, this has been Tuesdays with Tory. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Tomorrow, back in the playset, we've got Johnny Lieberman, and we're going to catch up with the GT4. He was driving the GT4, the new Porsche GT4 the other day. Had the red one, not the yellow one that's been making the rounds in L.A. He had a red one. It was pretty cool.
Sweet.
So we'll be talking about that as well as, COVID and coffee. He was there as well on Sunday. And
we
and
should
all the
start
usual
taking
stuff.
bets. How long until they shut that down, dude?
You know what? Let's talk about. Thank you, thank you for that. We'll talk about that because he probably has
I'll
a
be curious
better
to see.
handle on what is actually going on.
Sweet. And we had so many.
Whether or not, because I think Spike may actually be helping to, like, I mean, I know he's always helped promote the place, but actually the Cars and Coffee element of it.
Oh, he's definitely promoting it as a Cars and Coffee now, like on his show. So yeah.
Oh, sure. I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
Again, once there's video, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Tom Green is fully set up. Tom Green, I'm coming for you, brother. I'm gonna send you a message today. I'm gonna send Tom Green a message. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But his studio is all set up, and he's got new gear and everything. It's totally awesome.
Wow.
And he's digging it. You can tell. Every once in a while when I'll do a whole thing and then like, oh, feeling good, that kind of thing. You could totally tell by his video today that like he put in the work over the weekend and he was feeling pretty good.
That's awesome. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's all YouTube.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out. All right,
please
cool.
do check it out.
Today's show.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to tell from the pictures and stuff.
Does he do guests yet, or is he just on his own?
Yeah, he I don't know. He's been doing guests. He had Ice-T on last week. He's been doing guests, but I don't know.
Okay, cool.
It seems like he got everything new and set up now, so I don't know what his plan is. I should say though. I shouldn't say, but I'm gonna. He talked about building. He's loving his new studio, and he's talking about building another one, and he's talking about building it in a bus so that he can drive around the country. Podcast studio
like
in the
bus. A mobile studio.
A mobile Webovision, and then that way he can drive up to Canada to go see his folks because he wants to go visit his family.
That's cool.
In Ottawa, and of course nobody wants to get on a plane right now. So
yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too. I was like, that's gonna work. It's totally gonna work.
That's a good idea. Sweet.
All right, Johnny Lieberman tomorrow. Tory and I love you. Mrs. Ryan does too, and we will see you tomorrow with Johnny Lieberman. Have a great night. We love you.
Sweet. Later, guys.
This is always a problem for me.